This one's for you. Yes, you. The man or the woman who's followed me for months, years now, and you have yet to do anything about your immigration case simply because you have apprehensions. You know you possibly and probably qualify for a good VAWA case based on watching my videos and my lives and my many social media posts about VAWA. You know you possibly qualify, but the only thing hindering you, holding you back, is you're wondering what's going to happen to your spouse. You have some apprehensions about the involvement of your spouse in the whole process. There's just some questions you have unanswered about this VAWA process. If that sounds like you or someone you know, I need you to stick around because I promise you, you don't want to miss this video. Stick around. Here are three things you should know about your spouse when filing for VAWA. Alright guys, we are back on my YouTube channel, The Immigration Helper, where we discuss all things life and legal, as you probably know by now. This is attorney Elizabeth Wafula, your favorite immigration attorney. Today I'm returning with a hot, great topic, something I know you are burning to hear. I know many people will connect with, and that is simply three things you should know about your spouse when filing for VAWA. Three things you should know about your spouse when filing for VAWA. Real quickly, again, VAWA stands for Violence Against Women Act, promulgated in the early 90s. It was promulgated at the time to help women who found themselves in an abusive situation and were married to a green card holder or U.S. citizen. But over time, as I've explained a couple of times, is that it was expanded to help both men as well, men who find themselves in an abusive situation and are married to a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. I have told you that time and time again that actually about 90% of my clientele are actually men. Not that I don't like women, but those are who I have as a majority of my clients. So if you're a woman and this sounds like you after we talk today, do feel free to give me a call. I can definitely help you. Okay, now I'm posting up a link above to 2 great core videos on VAWA if you've never heard about it. First is 7 things you should know about VAWA on the top right corner, 7 things you should know about VAWA. And then the other one is a great video which talks about, do I qualify for VAWA? Do I qualify for VAWA? These 2 videos are great core videos, foundational videos explaining what VAWA is, who qualifies, how can it help, and etc. So now back to the topic. Now, when you are in a bad marriage or rocky marriage or even an abusive marriage, should we say, usually you'll find that your spouse, your U.S. citizen spouse or your green card holder spouse makes a lot of threats against you. Okay, they threaten to call immigration on you, they threaten to call the police on you, blah blah blah. They threaten to divorce you, blah blah blah. And the reason they usually threaten you is to maintain some sort of control over you by using fear, because they know that you believe that you have to have their support in order to live in this country. You have to have their support in order for them to file for you to get your green card, and etc. But my friends, my followers, my fans, I am here to tell you that is not true. So the number one thing you should know about your spouse when filing for VAWA is that their threats are just idle threats. They are just idle threats. Even if they follow through and call the police on you, nothing is gonna happen to you, okay? Nothing is gonna happen to you. The only exception is if they call the police and tell them that you are violent to them or something. Now that's an exception. In that case, you could be jailed. If you have an situation where your spouse actually follows through and calls the police and tells them that you're abusing them physically, then I would probably say you probably need to get out of that house, okay? Aside from that, if they're just making threats to get you deported, whatever, any other threats that they may make are simply idle threats. Number 2, when we file for a VAWA application, this one is a great one. Actually, absolutely nothing is going to happen to your spouse. So I work with a lot of clients who, despite what they've gone through at the hands of their spouse, they're usually concerned about what's going to happen to their spouse because they have children together, they have built a life together. And although this person has done some horrible things to my client is usually concerned, like, what's really going to happen to my spouse? Are they going to be jailed? Are they going to be prosecuted for what they did to me? And the answer is no. As part of VAWA, it encourages people to come forward to tell their story and then to get help from it is by not prosecuting their spouse, okay? If the government was to prosecute the spouse, that would actually deter a lot of people who have gone through things in their marriage, okay? It would deter people because we're trying to encourage people to come forward and to seek the proper help that they need legally, emotionally, and psychologically. Then the spouse, as a result, is not prosecuted and does not go to jail. And then the third thing that you should know is that when we file a VAWA application, we are filing this application on your own with you as the petitioner. So you are self-petitioning for yourself on the basis of marital problems or marital abuse, okay, marital mistreatment. You are self-petitioning. So therefore, your spouse is never involved from beginning to end, okay? Unless you tell your spouse is never involved. So that means when we file the application, it's you who signs all the forms, it's you who signs all the statements we send out. That means when you're called for an interview, they only call you for the interview. Your spouse is no way, no how, in no form involved, which is the absolute most favorite thing for my clients. Just the fact that, wow, I'm able to do something on my own without the involvement of my spouse. So guys, if you've been listening to me over and over, and these are the things that held you back, wondering what's going to happen to your spouse, well, I just told you nothing's going to happen to your spouse. Wondering if your spouse has to be involved in the process, well, I just told you that your spouse does not have to be involved in the process. Wondering whether your spouse's threats to get you deported will work, well, I just told you those are idle threats. Wondering whether if your spouse refuses to go forward and file for you or refuses to go to your interview, you're wondering whether you will be stuck. You're not going to be stuck. You still have VAWA as an option. So if this sounds like you, I want you to give me a call or an experienced immigration attorney on these matters. Schedule a phone or a Zoom consultation with that lawyer or with me and seek the proper legal help that you need. Every day that you stay in that marriage does not equal a green card, does not equal you getting the things you need in this life. So you might as well do what you need to do. All right? The summary of the 3 things you should know about your spouse when filing for VAWA is: number 1, their threats are idle threats. Number 2, your spouse will not be prosecuted or jailed. And number 3, the VAWA process does not require the involvement of your spouse in any way, shape, or form. That's it for this week, guys. I know you love that video. I know it's gonna help you out. I know it's gonna strengthen you to do what you need to do to get your green card, to have your own emotional, psychological, and legal freedom. And then from there on, to be able to make choices for yourself. Thank you, guys. As always, remember, there's always hope. This is Attorney Elizabeth Ofula. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.